The B-17 Flying Fortress was the backbone of America's bombing campaign over Europe. But flying in one demanded extreme mental toughness. Nearly half of all crewmen were killed, wounded, or captured. The stories of those who made it back reveal just how brutal operating the B-17 really was. When the US entered World War II, it joined Britain in a massive daylight bombing effort aimed at crippling Germany's war industry, factories, rail lines, and military production. The B-17 became the centerpiece of that strategy. Built to strike from 30,000 feet and defend itself with up to 13.50 caliber machine guns covering almost every angle. Approaching one meant flying into a wall of bullets. But even that firepower wasn't enough. American commanders believed that tight formations could fight through flak and fighters, bomb precisely, and make it home. In reality, every fourth bomber was shot down. Only about 20% of bombs hit their intended targets. Fighters tore into formations until the P-51 Mustang arrived as a long-range escort. But even with Mustangs, there was still flak, and nothing on AB-17 could stop that. German defenses arranged 88 and 105mm guns in massive radar-guided batteries. As bombers approached, the sky erupted with black bursts. Shrapnel tore through aluminum skin, severed cables, and ripped through crew positions. And bombers couldn't dodge. Formation rules demanded they fly straight and level. Crews watched planes around them get hit, fall away, and often no parachutes appeared. Yet the B-17 also became famous for impossible survivals. One of the most unbelievable happened to a bomber called All-American in 1943. After a mission over Tunisia, 2 German fighters attacked. The first was shot down, but the second, its pilot already dead, spiraled out of control and slammed through All-American's tail. The rear fuselage was almost completely severed, held by only a few thin strips of metal. By sheer luck, the autopilot was engaged at the moment of impact, using electrical controls instead of the cut cables. Somehow, the pilots kept it flying, escorted by stunned air crews who watched the tail swing freely in the air. All-American made it all the way back and landed safely, without losing a single crew member. Miracles didn't stop there. Ball turret gunner Alan McGee survived a 20,000-foot fall in 1943. His B-17 was torn apart by flak and his parachute was destroyed. He was blown out of the aircraft, lost consciousness in the freezing air, and plummeted 4 miles, crashing through the glass roof of a train station in France. The angled panels slowed his impact just enough to save him. Broken and wounded, he was captured, treated, and survived the war. Amazingly, other crewmen had similar experiences. Tail gunner Eugene Moran fell inside a detached tail section after a flak hit tore it clean off. It smashed into a pine tree, slowing the impact and saving his life. Another gunner, James Lay, survived nearly the same thing when his bomber collided with another in clouds near Athens. His tail section also fell through trees and he was rescued by Greek monks. Even when crews tried to bail out, survival wasn't guaranteed. The B-17 had narrow hatches and cramped spaces, often filled with smoke, fire, and chaos. Only about a quarter of the men who bailed out of destroyed B-17s actually survived to land. But one final story shows the brutal reality of the air war more than any other. The flight of Lovely Julie over Cologne in 1944. A flak shell detonated directly in the nose, killing the bombardier instantly and blowing the entire front of the bomber away. The pilot, Lieutenant Lawrence Delancey, suddenly found himself flying at 20,000 feet with no nose, no instruments. and wind blasting him at -40 degrees Celsius. The oxygen system was gone, so he dove the aircraft to lower altitude, straight across German defenses. His navigator had lost all maps and gear and had to guide them home by sight alone. Freezing, exposed, and nearly blind, the crew held on as the shattered aircraft limped across the Rhine, over the Channel, and all the way back to England. With no flaps, no brakes, and no nose, Delancey somehow landed the plane and was later awarded the Silver Star. These stories weren't rare exceptions, they were part of life for B-17 crews. Flying a Fortress meant facing flak, fighters, freezing temperatures, and terrifying odds. Yet their resilience turned the B-17 into a symbol of endurance, and their sacrifices played a crucial role in ending the war.